You made it just in time.
I made it just as the theme music was going off.
Right? You're like, hey, maybe I should go there. Maybe I should do some work. Who knows? How you doing?
It's been a day,
It has
and
been a
we'll leave
day.
it at that.
Yeah, me too. There we go. When Brian attacks next time on Fox, and we are configured. Look at us being configured. Boy, we're getting to the point where this is like really quick, like
Yeah.
getting ourselves all configured out. We're on it, doggone it.
Yeah. So I'm starting work on issue 3,
I consider that.
and I'm working on this, and then I had a scene in which I went, "That's issue 4," pop into my head,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a piece of music that caused it. Um, it's the song "The Day the Whole World Went Away." Hey, Brent,
Good to see you,
and
Brent.
just the flow of that music, I I got this very strong image of the Brig, the main character, walking through the bunker of where she lives, and people are just screaming at her, and you find out that there was a demon invasion, and in this issue, towards the end of the issue, she passes by uh, Momo and Rosa, and they're both looking like horrified and beaten. They just walk past, and you don't know why. And then the next issue, you find out they leveled an entire sector to deal with the demon incursion, and it was a big residential sector in the bunker.
Mm.
And so now Brig is having to deal with
The sort of
the
the fallout on.
hostility, the fallout.
I mean, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. Do you think Brig wants to do that? I mean, let's think about this logically. How happy do you think Brig is about that? Not really.
No, and they're
I mean, Brian, did you think about Brig? Come on.
no. In fact,
What was so funny? We're having this interesting discussion with D&D that in the D&D game we're playing Barrier Peaks, and I just twisted the story a little bit past sort of what I'm way off. I'm running way off.
evening, Troy. How are you doing?
Hello, I guess Troy.
But you know, Troy.
Oh, this is the Troy that's our mutual friend.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Way to use Troy's. Well, okay. You get us in trouble. I actually was about
Sorry.
to. I was actually really about to say the last name too, and I was like, let's not do that. Let's
Yeah.
not do that.
Let's avoid that.
Let's not cause more trouble than we need to.
Especially since he is doing a very wonderful stream right now and is becoming a streamer.
Is it like being a dreamer?
Yeah, something like that.
Why are there so many? All right. The lovers, the streamers, and me. Just saying. You know what we don't have?
Thank you for the raid, Troy.
We don't have music. I'm about to put music on.
No, put music on. But as part of the scene, I think it's because of just how angry I've been lately and how much anti LGBTQT stuff I've been seeing lately and the anger I've had towards it, that this scene is hitting hard. It is. This isn't, oh look, everything's perfect because you. No, this is them screaming obscenities at her, and her just not taking it.
Right.
And finally, like, one person goes, well, I'll have you thrown in prison for this. And she goes, you seem to have forgotten one important thing. I am the only one here that can protect you guys. There is no one else. And they literally just got to see it. Like,
right.
She is the one that knows the bunkers and knows, because this is her home that she shares with all these other people. So she is literally their only protector. And they're turning on her, and she is reminding them,
This is the X-Men, the boys problem, though. I've often thought about that. We explore that in the boys. It's like, what do you do, though? I mean, go ahead, arrest her. Do that. You do that.
Yeah.
See how that works for you.
Yeah,
but it's totally the X-Men boys thing.
And this isn't the, she's like in the boys, how the superheroes are kind of ineffectual and very destructive. Like that, those themes are in here, but with her, she understands it, and she tries very hard not to create more casualties and damage than what she has to.
Right.
It was a scene that was so strong in my head. I was like, I gotta write this. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget it by the time I get to issue 4.
Right. All right. Realized we had a couple of pages that did not in fact have the QuaCk on it, and I was like, well, these are easy. Like, this guy could be easily rigged and ready to go. So we just save. So I am kind of looking forward to the next issue where I get to draw. That I can put the QuaCk here, but I need more than that. I need the landing site. But the next one where I get to draw where I get to build a Corvette. See you later, B. Shimoda.
See ya. Have a nice night.
I'm just having fun with this now. Actually, we need to figure out what his name is on stream.
B. Shimoda.
Do I have to say the whole thing? Because that's long. Can we call him Shim? Shim. Okay.
I designed his icons too.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm just teasing. I'm having fun because I actually like the guy and it's fun. So
yeah,
he's fun. So it's really just way too entertained for my own good. And I'm silly tonight, so that doesn't help any. All right. I'll double check to make sure all pages have everything we need where we have the QuaCk model set up. In case we don't. Okay, so we got the QuaCk there. Okay. Check this page. No. Okay, good. Probably should just go systemically. Tech. I didn't do anything. We need to fix this. This page needs to be corrected for. Yeah, see, like, here's another one. She doesn't was deployed, though, for this. And since this picture takes place with her in space, let's bring up her flaps, because those aren't necessary to be up or down for space flight. I like the fact that I keep forgetting that, and so in the end, it's kind of like the poor Kittywake's just lazily keeping the flaps like in whatever angle they're at, because we're in space and it doesn't really matter. So, they just kind of keep them kind of sitting out there like this, whatever. I keep imagining in my head, though, they like start to hit the atmosphere and the ship starts tilting. Like, what's going on? Oh, we forgot to set the flaps. Oh, God, They were just set for whatever.
No, what'd be even better is if the crew doesn't notice, but I can't remember your captain's name.
Chang.
Huh? Chang.
Mm-hmm.
If Chang looks over at the AI guy and he's having a massive freak out, like you see him like absolutely horrified and panicked, and he's quickly trying to do something, and she's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, "You forgot to set the flaps again." The ship has tilted by, and it's just this extraordinarily small number, but it's just enough for him to have a complete panic attack, but not enough for the rest of the crew to realize something was truly wrong.
Right in the face of that girl right there. Okay, so this is page 24, frame 1. Help, 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 help. When you first said Troy, I was like, what's Troy doing on here? And why is he, like, because I thought it was my co-host.
Oh.
And so I was like, what? I only know 2 of them. But my Troy is part of our D&D game, and so he's been calling all day because we've been talking about aspects of the game. So I was, for a moment there, like, is he on here so that he can talk about more things that we need to fix? I love it when it accidentally works perfectly.
fine. In that voice that says, no, it's not fine, but I can't say much. So it's fine. So yeah, Bishimoda, he recently got to unlock the first stages of Twitch icons, custom Twitch icons for his channel.
Oh yeah.
So he got, I made him a whole bunch of icons, including an animated one, and that was a lot of fun.
That is cool. All right. Check page 21. Nope. Okay, we're on page 24, 25, 26 needs one very small one.
You know, it's the start of Pride Month.
Yar.
And that's cool. But it feels so hollow to see these big companies that don't care about LGBTQ the rest of the year suddenly put on their flag and say, hey, we're behind, LGBTQ and all this, and just it feels like, hey, we heard you had a wallet there.
Right. We're noticing you had money.
Yeah.
Would you like to give it to us? We support you. I mean, really?
I mean, we accept cash too. It's just as good.
Yeah, you're weird gay cash. I mean, LG whatever thingy cash. Yeah. I agree.
I'm sorry, I'm in a very cantankerous mood today because of Social Security.
Social Security, huh? That's
Yeah.
enough to put anybody in cantankerous moods. I don't know what your problem is.
So.
There we go. I'm trying to match this angle. Maybe. That's more like it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, that makes little or no sense. Good job. That's all right. We're in the middle of none of that, and somehow we still manage to drop our internet connection from time to time too. So shrug, we'll all just hang out together and do what we can do our best, you know. All right. 26, 27. Looks good. All the exteriors are in. Why does he keep doing that? What got changed? 28. Okay, nothing. But we've still got to ask you if you wish to save the nothing that you did. 29. Okay. 30. It's funny, that doesn't look so good from distance, but up close, perfect. Cool. Still working on that. 32. I need to put that one in, but that's on the ground. Okay, so that's a different scene for the spaceship. All right. Double check the first half to make sure. That looks good. See, that doesn't make any sense. Like, these double pages don't ask me if I want to save them if I haven't made any changes. But the single pages do. Makes no sense.
Have you merged the double pages?
Well, maybe, but it's still, I mean...
It treats them differently.
It does. I'm just looking at it's interesting how the programming is super different on it. And I'm going to have to unmerge them at some point here because they aren't spreads. They're not full spreads. It's just that it laid it down that way because I didn't know how to build files right off the bat.
So wait a minute. Can you bring that up? Can you bring that up big? So
yeah, hang on.
Like, what are you trying to do?
Well, I am. I mean, I guess that's kind of a questionable thing.
What's the spread you're trying to do?
So here's the thing: the first 17 pages of this are double page by accident. I built them like this with a double page. So they're spreads. All of them are spreads.
Oh.
From 18 on, they're individuals.
Oh. So right? Yes, you can actually split them apart.
Yep. And that's what I'm going to have to do at some point. Naturally, we're going to have to do that. But all that was going on today was I was fascinated by the fact that opening up the double page spreads does not, and then closing them again does not incur do you want to save this double page spread? But opening up a single page and then closing it right away will say, hey, before you close, you want to save the changes you made, which you didn't because all you did was open it to close it. And that's what I was saying. I was like, it's interesting, but the programming is different there. You know, it's not that there was nothing wrong with it. It's just interesting that the programming is very different, you know. That's all. I just thought that was fascinating to me. I was like, wonder why that's the case, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing. Okay. We're going to finish all the bridge stuff now because now we are done with, we're pretty sure we have all of the things that involve the kitty-wake. So we can clear this and open recent and main bridge with the lights on. Nope, don't need to save it. Oh, crashy. So I finally realized a big thing I shouldn't have done. I should have done before, but I did it recently. And that was, I moved all of my OneDrive out to my D drive because it was taking up a ton of space on my C drive. And if I moved it out to my D drive, we'd be fine. So I did that. And what you do when you do that is you copy the entire thing to your other hard drive, then close down OneDrive, and then remove it from your computer, and then reinstall it. And when you do it, it asks you, one of the questions it asks you is, do you already have an existing OneDrive? And you say yes. And it goes, where is it? And you link it to the other drive. Okay, no problem. The problem is some of my programs are still calling back to C:\ONE/OneDrive instead of to D:\ONE/OneDrive, which is what it needs to be doing. And so I realized a couple of days ago, the only way I'm ever going to be able to figure this out is by changing the files on C drive to old OneDrive. So now everything crashes because it's like, we can't find C:\ONE/OneDrive. Of course you can't. It's C:\old OneDrive, and I'm not going to relink it there, but at least now I know when something has blown up, e.g. like now when we have, actually I'm just going to, because it's just Angie anyway, and we're using the wrong one. We're using the wrong Angie and the wrong Chang, apparently. Which is fine.
No.
I will grab the correct maquettes that are in the right spot. We'll grab the correct people for this anyway. We needed to do this a long time ago anyway.
Yeah.
Bellatrix leads Chang Lee service. Aha. So there are still problems with the actual maquette that does belong. The correct maquette's screwed up too. That's good to know. That may mean that the first thing we need to do today is not do the bridge stuff, but fix the maquettes.
Oh my god, it's the freaking music. It sounded like it was starting to rain, and I'm sitting here going, is it raining? What is that tapping noise?
And well, things can blow up. Crap. Screw up the hard one.
I'll just give her Evil Dead eyes. That'll work.
Yep, nobody will notice that.
Particularly if she hasn't had coffee that day and she just has no pupils.
Right? That's exactly what happens when she has no coffee. This was actually kind of a pain in the butt to do.
Oh, the pupils are?
Oh no, just originally trying to move all the textures over because, and this is something I really wish Microsoft would address, but they don't. And that is, OneDrive has a physical location on your hard drive, but that's not the way you see it. You see it as OneDrive. So all of your folders under OneDrive, but it's actually on your hard drive under C:\users /guy /OneDrive.
Yeah, 14 million.
Right. So when things like DAS go looking for things, they're looking for C:\users /guys whatever, what and not looking for OneDrive /guys artwork or whatever. So it actually is aggravating because in that instance, it doesn't synchronize. Like, it'd be great if it would synchronize, because then all the things that I saved to my OneDrive would be loadable on both my portable, my Surface, and this computer. But they're not, because they're two different locations on both machines. So if I were to take this DAS Studio file and throw it onto the OneDrive and then try to open it on my Surface, it completely explodes because it cannot find my home computer / this, that, and that. It's like, well, what's having a OneDrive which links everything if you cannot actually understand being on two
where it
different
is. Yeah.
And I understand that that's the base concept of that, is because at the core, we're still running DOS. And nobody thought of OneDrive when they created DOS in the 70s. So, but I mean,
hell, even Windows wasn't a
thought. No,
a glimmer.
But I mean, I have cute little pictures down in the bottom corner of my machine now every day, and it's a different little picture they're sending to me every day. You'd think that, I don't find that useful, or I don't find that as useful as, say, being able to control all of my stuff on my OneDrive from multiple machines. Markedly more useful. So I would think that they would come up with some kind of way to mask it in some direct concept. Cool. Whoa, that's weird. Don't ever do that again. Okay, I think we've fixed that problem to some degree.
Oh, and your thing about what I was talking about earlier about being very boys-like, the boys,
Yeah.
I think still works with the magical girl genre quite well because that's a very similar theme.
Oh yeah. It was more along the lines of that's something they've been exploring in the boys, which is what are you gonna do? Tell Superman he can't do something?
Yeah. Well, and also I think it's something that's not explored as much in superhero movies and the superhero genre is, do you really want to have a guy that has a superpower that is so powerful it can bust through 4 buildings in the middle of a fight in a densely populated city?
Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a Superman movie that did that, and then everybody was like, "We don't like that movie." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel
but
like they did that in one of the new Supermans. Like he just got into a big fight and was like knocking entire buildings down and like tearing up the city and like kind of, I don't know, or either that or they didn't address it and that was even weirder. You know, like guys didn't even acknowledge the fact that you just literally leveled buildings because you were so busy going, "Isn't it cool, level buildings? We got CGI now." You know.
yeah. And that's the thing that has always kind of bugged me with superhero movies is you're watching them and they're literally destroying the entire city to kill one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, was it ultimately worth the casualties? You know?
Right.
But anime has the same problem with the magical girl genre because they do the same thing.
Sure.
I mean, when they pop out their ultimate spell, you watch like blocks go missing. It's like, and then you have people like me that are sitting there going, okay, but what are the after effects of that? Like, we look at, let's say, a perfect example, the tsunami in Japan that hit a number of years ago.
3/11/11.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't traumatize me. Why?
But look at the horror of that, of people were going and checking boards and putting up "Have you seen me" posters trying to find loved ones. And here it is. They're just nonchalantly, oh, hey, look, the day is saved. And they're not going through the humanizing part, which is now these people have to pick up the shattered parts of their lives.
It's true. 20,000 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I am shocked that nobody that I know lost somebody in that. That was 2 years after I left. So that literally happened when my 7th graders were 9th graders. So they weren't even out of school yet. My little 7th graders weren't even out of they hadn't even graduated yet, junior high.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it didn't get as far inland as Tsushima, but I mean, they were there. They were being involved. They got involved in all the Fukushima stuff.
My Japanese instructor, her entire family comes from the Fukushima area.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about, going to that bay to catch oysters and having fresh oysters and all this. And it was...
We were there in 2009. There was a beautiful aquarium there.
And it just... That kind of discussion just kind of stays with you.
Yep. There's a bunch of caves up in Fukushima. And some of those caves had passages that were just barely big enough for you to slide through it sideways. And all I could think about when I was in those caves was, if there's an earthquake right now, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be it. There'd be no way.
Yeah.
I even remember saying that because we were there with a family that are sort of our adopted second family, sort of the one that the girl that stays with us comes from. We were there with her and her family, and we were going through the caves and everything like that. And I just remember saying that to her, or saying that to my buddy Masa. And saying, "Hey, what about an earthquake?" But yeah, I mean, that there's an aquarium in Sendai that we went to as well, and that aquarium was out in a little isthmus out into the bay, and it was destroyed. And all I could think about was, that was like the best day ever for all the creatures that were in that aquarium. I mean, like all these sharks and stuff like that were in this aquarium are now out to sea. Yeah.
Home!
Right? It was like the best day ever for those guys. So, but we were just there. It was even weirder. One of my buddies had driven through Sendai the day before, because she was on her way to the north part of Japan. She had just driven through that city, and she was on the other side of that city when the earthquake and the tsunami hit, and she was up in the mountains at that point. So she was safe, but it was bizarre. She could not go home the way she came there. Like, the roads were gone. There were no roads. There was no way.
That would mess with me.
Yeah, that messed with her. She was really like, that messed with her a lot. That was hard. She didn't know anybody down there. She was on vacation, so she didn't know anybody that was down there. But again, like, you think about that, and then you're like, if you think too hard about it, some part of you knows that you saw people who are now dead. Some part of your brain registers that.
Yeah.
Chain service.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm doing clean lines on I actually need to just finish roughing this page, because it's kind of the outline page, and I really need to rough it. And for some reason, I was just cleaning, cleaning up the lines. It's like, no, that's not what that's for. So it wasn't even a wrong layer thing. It was, you're doing the wrong operation, brain. Stop.
Right. You are set to the correct spot too. All right. Yes. Okay, 301's replaced.
Okay.
Same thing. Oh, she's got tiefling eyes all of a sudden.
What? There was another shooting today?
Where?
I'm getting tired of these mass shootings.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a problem with that for a while, I think.
Yeah.
That's true. And it's because there are two kinds of people in the world. People who feel like they have a responsibility towards society, and people who feel like society owes them. Sadly, the latter of those two are right now the ones who feel like they would be put out. And so we can't get anywhere until those people figure it out. Because right now, as it stands, those people are the ones that have a fundamental issue, because to them, they are owed the right to have a gun, as opposed to seeing it as an obligation, like my child is an obligation. My child is suspended right now. He's grounded. So as long as he's grounded, I don't get to go anywhere. I could sit here and say, but I didn't do anything. Can't blame me. But if I leave, my child would go back to doing what he was doing before. I have an obligation to my child. That's the two types of people in this world. I'm actually starting to really realize this. There are two kinds of people. And the reason why it happens here and nowhere else is because our people who are in that position are prominent. And as long as they are in control, or have any control at all, we will continue to have this problem. Because the truth is, if my kid were using, let's say, taking knives to school and slicing the tires of all the teachers, I would lock the knives up. I wouldn't say, but you can't blame the knives. I wouldn't say, well, you can't blame his mom and me. We didn't do anything wrong. All of those things would be ridiculous arguments to make, and we would know that.
Yeah.
And since that's not a logical thing, see, I realized this when I was in Japan. The Japanese feel like they're obligated to their society. They have an obligation. So they keep the place clean. They pick up all the trash. They do all the things, and keep it. And they try not to dump trash everywhere. And they feel they have an obligation. They also wear masks when they're sick. And they also, nobody turns it into a freedom thing. You just wear a mask because you're sick. It has nothing to do with your freedoms. But that's, another good example of it. There were people who believed that it wasn't the doing the right thing that was the problem. It was being forced to do the right thing that was the problem. So in resistance, because they are owed society, they resisted by not doing the right thing in protest. Okay, but that's believing that society is here to serve you, not that you are here to serve society. So, till we fix that, this is going to continue. And I hate to say this, but the right is correct. If you take away the guns, they'll still blow stuff up with trucks or whatever. However, it'll be markedly harder if there are no guns.
Yeah.
So the left is right. It still would cut it down. So in that instance, both are correct, however, with stipulation.
Well, it's like the argument of two people staring at they're staring at a number, and one guy goes, "It's a 6," and the other guy goes, "It's a 9," and they're both correct from their perspective.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to mark it one way or the other.
Sure. But yeah, it's sad and it's horrible and it's terrible, and we will continue to sacrifice people to this until we learn that we are all at service of our culture, not vice versa. And it's actually kind of funny because some of the arguments that I have with people prove that they truly do not believe that they are responsible for any part of society. And it's really strange. I mean, I was having a discussion at one point in time with somebody, and I don't even remember what it was that I said, but I said, you can't just do anything you want. You have to compromise with the people around you. And the response was, well, I don't want to live in a country like that. And I'm like, you just literally just said it's your way or the highway. I mean, like, literally just said, we will do your land. It's not the United States of America. It's the United States of you. Everybody does what you want them to do. I'm like, you can't even perceive that, can you? And some of these people really can't. They cannot see that they're making a weird logic leap,
Yeah.
Very strange. But I understand it. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I get it. All right, that took way too long to get to the point where everything is sort of semi-operating like it's supposed to. So we're going ahead and do. See, like, I can already tell your greaves are not correct. That's so weird. Delete you and reinstall a new engine. There we go. Much better.
Okay, that looks better to me.
Okay, now I have secured most of the things on the bridge. Now we need to make the bridge act like the bridge, because this is a different bridge. I've said this before. So we're going to do new. Just 11 by 11. We'll go with that. That works. Really?
Yep.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about the gun debate is that somewhere along the line, the logical solution is to restrain guns for an amount of time, and there will be people who will resist that and have believed that they will throw their lives down and that will be acceptable. And it would be such a phenomenal waste.
Well, and I'm also tired of the narrative of, well, if I was there with my gun, I could have stopped everything.
Yep, good guy with a gun.
And it's like you're joking with yourself.
Yep. Well,
and every person that I've talked to that have that, I said, okay, do you remember the Aurora theory? They're like, oh yeah, if I was there, I would have stopped everything. I said, did you know there was 5 people with guns in that theater beyond the shooter? And they went, what? It's like, yeah. And they asked all of them, why didn't you return fire? And all of them said the same thing. There was too much chaos and they were too afraid they were going to hit an innocent person. And they couldn't return fire.
Mm-hmm. They're not trained.
Well, no, some of these people were police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were trained. And some of them were civilians that had guns.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them said the same thing. It's like, I couldn't return fire.
Yeah, the biggest problem is, and it's a fallacy. I think we're prepping for bed over here behind me. I hear bed prepping going on.
Anyways.
Yep. Well, and not wanting to continue that while the rest of the family is in the room, we'll continue it at a later date.
Okay.
What I'm doing now is displays.
Yay!
These are going to be the hovering holograms that they'll just be boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, 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 boop, 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 beep, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Are they suddenly the Blue Man group? Just
Yep, that's what they do. All Blue Man, all the time.
that.
And this is the standard Astronet interface display, so yeah, we're going to take feel like I could take this and just invert it and make it work, but maybe that's what I should do. Just start from there. Oh, sawing things outside again. There goes the sawing noises. That'll be mostly translucent. We don't want that. We want the other direction. Mostly transparent. Like that. I'll say save as. Completes. Relation right. 3D sets of props, holograms, and then we'll call this astronaut base. How big is Tamagotchi? This size. Really big. Nope. Not really big. So 40 seems about right. It's okay. You going to bed? Ooh, you can scratch there. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's good. Dude, that was being scratched. Oh, thank you. Just like George. Just like George, I like to be scratched.
Good night. I don't know.
Oh, if you wait a second, you'll hear the sawing noise. Because it's about to come around again. That weird noise that I was hearing the other night. I was like,
What is that? I'm gonna check to make sure I brush your teeth. Kai, did you brush your teeth? Are you comfortable?
You had a strange look in your eye there, Guy.
it was the weird noise. Let's say.
Oh. Oh yeah, they do have this strange hardwood floors, don't they?
Let's take a look at some of the controls that are in Macross. Shall we? It's where I usually take my references from.
Oh, they don't have that on that. Alright. Okay, that looks better. Maybe something like that in there. You can get that, like some of that. Yeah, that's what it needed. Now it looks like a room. I like how both you and I both care about the background, and we you do it through 3D models, and you put all this detail into the background so you don't forget anything and draw it. And I'm sitting here going,
yep.
And I'm sitting here doing the same thing, but I'm like, you know what? We need one of those like little bed things here, and one of these chairs here.
Yep. It's interesting how we both have completely different ways of dealing with things. Nothing wrong with either of those, just fascinating how it is.
Yeah. And it's almost something that you could go, if someone asks you about, how do you do things, you could say, well, you can go to my Twitch stream at night. You can watch me do it, and then you can watch another person or 3 or 4 or however many decide to show up one
doing a completely different thing.
Yeah, you'll get 20 different ways of doing that same thing, and how each of us finally worked it out for us.
It is fascinating. It really is fascinating to me how we did this we're coming at these things from completely different angles.
And we're having to deal with strikingly different themes, even though we have kind of similar genre takes.
Right? That's the other thing that's kind of cool, is that we're completely different as far as our themes are concerned. But our genre is identical. Well, ish. But still.
Ish.
I do like that part of this. If nothing else, the thing I like the most about this is how we're getting stuff done. We're getting the job done.
Well, it's like today, I really wasn't feeling up to drawing a comic page, but coming in here at night, it was like, okay, time to work.
Right? Time to get her done. Ooh. That's weird.
What's weird?
The line spacing was set so wild. And it was set wild because I was doing another project with a different text. So defaulting to this. But so I made another font today. And so this is so frustrating. You set for 40, enter. Set for white. Jeez Louise. This shouldn't be so hard. It is. It's so hard. Because it resets everything back to where it was. 40, enter. Set for white. So that your text is always starting at the wrong color, doing the wrong thing. Then I'm like, I can't read it. Why can't you read it? Because it set it for gray again. I just set it for white, but it's set for gray again. Some of the weirdest crap that this program does. It's like so remarkably unprofessional. It's like determined to be in gray. This background color that I have picked a long time ago, and it was only used once, but I've used white a lot for everything. But it keeps going back to gray. Doesn't matter what I do. I could sit here and go, okay, cancel. Set it for white. We're setting the text for white. Here's us setting the text for white. Okay. And then we'll click it and I'll put in numbers and they vanish because it set it all for this gray again. It's so weird. In fact, this is enough, and I'm just gonna start duplicating. I'm not gonna make a new text box.
God, it doesn't feel like Wednesday.
I'm having that problem too. Next week, I've got to be in a classroom. I think I'm ready for that.
Is that in line? Yeah. Sort of. There. Nope. Nope.
There we go. Nope. Screwed it up. Nope. I've noticed that we've had very few layer errors since we started using vector layers.
Yes. And part of that is, like, we were both coloring and doing things like that. And it's easier to make that mistake on a raster layer.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Come on, bring it back.
I feel like our chief over here is feeling neglected.
What?
You're on the wrong layer, Chief.
Oh. You must stop. Why? You're on the wrong layer. Oh.
Poor guy. Got nothing to do. He has no job.
Oh no, he'll come in. I know both of us.
It's only a matter of time. Again, it went to gray. It's so weird. I haven't used gray now in like an hour, but that's the default color for every piece of text.
Oh, are you doing this on text?
What do you mean?
Are you in Clip Studio with text?
Yeah.
That's why. Switch it to black. Switch it to the color you want before you do text.
I have been.
No. When you're clicking on text and it's going to gray and you're switching it to white, before you click the next thing to put in text, look at the little corner thing and make sure it's white.
You mean over here on the text? Oh.
No. Over in your foreground and background color.
I see what's going on. It's the foreground color. It's set for foreground, not the background color. I get it now. Okay.
I run into that a lot. And
That
then
makes
you
sense.
change it, and you think you've changed it for all time, and then you do the next one, and it's back to gray again because it's defaulting to whatever the current selected color is on the foreground and background color things, and not changing it.
Yeah, I get it now. That worked. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're like, I know this problem. I've had this problem already.
I'm sorry I didn't recognize it earlier, else I could have saved you an hour of...
Irritation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll live. I'm not terribly worried. Everything goes a lot easier when I don't have to change the text every time. There you go. And that's how we make a hologram, which is partially see-throughable. Because you want to be able to look through it at Bennett and say, "What are you doing over there, you crazy woman?" I'm just adding the music.
Bow, bow.
Right? Bow, bow, bow. I say it every night. Time sure is fun when you're having flies. We're running out of time.
Wow. Well, Guy, you have finally gotten your wish. I have significantly slowed down.
I don't know if that was my wish.
Well, I'm certainly not kicking out a page in an hour.
Yeah, still not my wish. It's very much like making fun of Raph.
And I hope he joins us soon.
Yeah, like
He
I
makes
said,
these fun.
I just miss him. That's all.
Yeah.
I was kind of doing the everybody should join, and I was like, well, really, I just miss you guys. It's like that comic going around about we all, now that COVID's over, we all should get back together. But why? We like Roll20 so much better. Because technically I miss hugging people and talking to you in person and all the fun snacks you bring, you know?
Yeah. I have two posters in the background and they're both hidden by a word balloon.
Right, you work so hard and then I do that too. Why did I spend all this time on this?
Because it gives the scene more realism.
Yeah, well, and that's yet another reason why I prefer my method over yours, not because, which you can prefer your method over mine, by the way. But that frustrates me so much if I spend so much time on it. I'm like, I wasted time, you know, because I get so caught up on that. It's like my internal mechanism just won't let that go. But, you know, if I think, it's on the background, it'll be there for some other time. If we never show it again, I don't notice. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't matter to me, apparently. I don't know. Man. Really.
What?
It's just being a best. I got it. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just like, really? This is what we're going to do? We're not going to actually make this easy. No, of course not. I need to make a podium by which the front helm is on, and I just need it to cooperate. It's not. That's fine. 10 minutes remain. Well, they're in full hologram mode, so I should turn the shells off. Because no matter what, that's transparent anyway.
I am suddenly very glad that no one watches this stream that much.
Why? What are you doing?
I might have just put spoilers in.
I see. Or might not. Or something.
I mean, it depends on how good the resolution is on some of, people's machines.
Right. And one of the reasons that I didn't want to do this right now, I've been kind of dragging my feet a little bit, was because this is going to take a long time to do this one setup. But you know what? Glad that it's done.
Yeah. Now it just feels finished.
Yeah, I mean, the bridge didn't have it was missing a couple of key pieces, like, for example, the helm. Nobody needs that.
Nah.
Normally, this is maintained by Mayrel, but she's still in the pilot house at this point because they're just setting up the bridge.
Because I forgot to do. That's why.
Forgot to do wackadoo, wackadoo, wackadoo.
I forgot to set up 2 reference points.
Yeah, they don't mess it up.
Oh, it's awful dark. So it is.
None.
I noticed they still haven't fixed our problem.
Yeah, we're gonna have that for a while, I think. Aw, it's upside down. That's right. We'll fix it in a second here. Oh, what I should use its controls. Oh, we are confused, aren't we?
Yes, all the time.
There we go. Helm holo in place. The captain's holograms in place. The helm's holograms in place. I will save. And we will come back to this tomorrow.
Yay!
And I will take 2 bareback bodies. Let's see if I can make the swelling in my back go down a little.
Not so yay.
I know, right?
All right. Well, it is after midnight, so we should start.
Yeah, I'm just doing all my stuff. I've saved. I'm bigger than you.
Oh no!
Oh no, I'm bigger than you. I'm bigger than you. Don't you pinch your head?
You pinch your head. I'm pinching your head.
Okay, we should go. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Because this never stops. This never stops. I like that angle.
Thank you.
So, we're out. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.